Hey, I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show, the voice of rural America. We, the people, you and I, the 38%. That's the ceiling. That's Donald Trump's glass ceiling. Folks, you can get in touch with me if you ever want to send messages, 706-889-9700. You want to text me during the show. If you'd like to be on the show, we take text messages. You send us a text message, say you'd like to be on the show. Then we try to get that set up. We can have you on here. We can take callers. So if you'll text us and say, hey, I'd like to be on the show to discuss what you're, be a part of what you're talking about, let us know. And also you can email me, chief@fetchernews.com. Now that's a 24-hour phone line right there. We take news and information 24 hours a day from the North Georgia area or throughout the United States. If you're in Texas, you want to call today and tell me something that's going on out there. This is our national segment that we get involved in. Also, you can follow us on Twitter @FetcherNews, @FYNTV, and email. All right. So yes, I know Obamacare has collapsed, okay? Aetna is pulling out in 2018. Aetna's pulling out in 2018, and we will talk about that in just a minute. But the memo, okay, let's look at this just a minute because this morning, obviously on Morning Joe, this is some of the things, their heads are spinning off, they're exploding. Joe and Minka's exploding. Joe Scarborough says, everybody in White House lying through their teeth. Okay, now this is actually the things they are off the rails. I mean, there's media clips where there are news anchors and there's pundits and everything that are just going nuts. Joe Scarborough. Now, this doesn't have to be a constitutional crisis, okay? Congressional ballot test 16. Now, we showed you that poll earlier. You went over the cliff. Joe Scarborough says Republicans went over the cliff for a health care bill that nobody wanted. Joe Scarborough said if the election was held today, Nancy Pelosi would be the Speaker of the House. And let's see Nancy's reaction to that. If the election were held today, this is what Joe Scarborough said this morning. The one time, oh, Nancy won. Oh, it's me. I'll get her off there. We got like an 8-second, okay? 8-second rule on her, okay? Sam, keep that in mind. If the election were held today, Nancy Pelosi would be Speaker of the House. Republicans, Joe Scarborough did a message, it will be on the internet, to Republicans. As though he is one. Really? Joe, I know a Republican. I've been around Republicans my whole life, Joe. Joe, you're no Republican. If you go along with this president, you will be swept aside. The wave is starting, swept aside. And then Minka sighed and said, but that's the least of our problems, Joe. And then Joe said, you allowed Trump. It's like I'm reading from a play. I could do this. I'm going to produce this show. It's an off-Broadway production. I'm going to do the Minka and Joe off-Broadway. Write that down. Start to work on that immediately. We'll have to go to casting. Who wants to play Minka out there? And then Joe said to Minka, Trump, you allowed this Republican a hostile takeover of your party. The aftermath, the crisis of a presidency. And then Halpern, what's his name? Halpern? Now this is the one I like. Get Halpern up there. I got a picture of him somewhere. I think his name's Mark Halpern, okay? What does Mark Halpern say? Where is it at here? I had here just say, here's Mark Halpern, okay? Like he knows something. The White House changes its story on Comey firing, lying through their teeth. So Mark Halperin here says, this is what Halperin says, you can't fire the FBI director without thoroughly a clear explanation. The continuing crisis. Mark, did you get the memo? Well, wait a minute. Now, we like to have fun on the show. I don't know if Mark got the memo. So let's just run it back for Mark one more time. Play the video. Mark, here's the memo. Everybody out there, we're going to read the memo afterwards, okay? Play the memo.
Hello, Peter. What's happening? We have sort of a problem here. Yeah, you apparently didn't put one of the new cover sheets on your TPS reports.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry about that. I forgot.
Yeah. You see, we're putting the cover sheets on all TPS reports now before they go out. Did you see the memo about this?
Yeah. Yeah, I have the memo right here. I just forgot. But it's not shipping out till tomorrow, so there's no problem.
Yeah. If you could just go ahead and make sure you do that from now on, that would be great. And I'll go ahead and make sure you get another copy of that memo. Okay?
Yeah, no, I have the memo. I've got it. It's right.
Hello, Phil.
Yeah, Mark, we'll make sure you get another copy of the memo. Did you see the memo? Media, did you read the memo? Do you understand the memo? Do you understand how the FBI works? Do you understand how the Department of Justice works? Do you understand how investigations work? Because I don't know if you got the memo, but you know what? We're going to make sure you get another copy of the memo. Now, yesterday, the news is all up that Rosenstein, okay, I got it here. Hold on, I got it here. Don't everybody get all like, oh, my computer decided to start spinning around. Well, not the computer itself, but the little wheel on there. I got 19 tabs open. And every once in a while, it takes a minute for it to decide it wants to do something for me. Okay, there we go. I got to get rid of that. Hold on. I got the memo. All right. First of all, Rod Rosenstein confirmed as Deputy Attorney General. The Senate voted 94-6. We did this yesterday to confirm Rod Rosenstein as Deputy Attorney General, the second highest ranking office in the Department of Justice, right under Jeff Sessions, okay? Now, what you are hearing today, okay, let's clear this up, because like I said, I have no insider information. I just listen to what everybody says, and then I start chopping it up. They're wanting you to believe that James Comey went to this guy, okay? Now let's make sense of this, okay? Stay with me. They want you to believe this, the media, that James Comey went to this guy. That was approved 94-6. That Obama had in there. That everybody, Chuck Schumer, Dick Durbin. This guy's the most nonpartisan guy. This guy is strictly he's ethical, his integrity. It doesn't matter if it's a Democrat or Republican. This guy's a by the book. I mean, it's only 2 weeks ago. These are the speeches they're giving about this guy. All right? His integrity, by the book. We trust this guy no matter what he's working on. Now, everybody, 94, only 6 did not vote for him. And, you know, we could guess, let's see, Cory Booker from New Jersey. You know what? Cory, just come out of the damn closet. I just want to say that. Cory Booker from New Jersey. There's a lot of rumors swirling. Cory Booker from New Jersey. Kristen Gillibrand from New York. Carmela Harris from California. Catherine Mantos. Mansos from Nevada. Pocahontas, of course. Elizabeth Warren. And Richard Blumenthal. Oh, Blumenthal. Now that's the guy that said he was in Vietnam or something and he lied. Anyhow, Richard Blumenthal. Those are the only ones. 94-6. So the point is, Rod Rosenstein his career is very important. So they want to lead you to believe this morning that Comey goes down to the Department of Justice. Who is it? James. Come on in, James. So James goes down to the Department of Justice. He's sitting there. And James says, by the way, I want to widen the scope. Are you serious? Listen, I want to widen the scope of this Russian investigation. Because I think there's more to look at. And I need another $2.9 million. Well, James, I don't know that we can do that right now with the current budget crisis and so on and so forth. Well, I want to widen the scope. So here's the thing. All right, so, well, I tell you what, I'll take it highly into consideration. Now, this is this guy, Rod Rosenstein, okay? 94, I'll take it into consideration. So James leaves. Get me the Attorney General. Attorney General Sessions. Comey was just in my office. He wants more money. He wants to widen the scope of the investigation. What are we going to do? Well, I have no choice but to tell Donald. Yeah, that's what they call him around the office, Donald. So I have no choice but to call the president. So, Mr. President, this is Jeff. Jeff who? Jeff Sessions. Oh, okay. Comey was just in here. He wants more money. He wants to widen the scope. Well, I'll tell you what. You get Rosenstein and yourself, and you get your asses in my office in about 30 minutes, and let's figure this out. Sessions calls Rosenstein back. Hey, the president says we have to get down there now. This is a crisis. We can't let Comey widen the scope. We can't let him go any further. So they rush down to the White House. Now, this is the media. If you listen on it, they rush down to the White House, right? So they get there, and Donald said, you know, I've been wanting to fire his ass for a long time, and now I've got good reason. Here's what I want you to do. Rosenstein, I want you to throw your complete career out the window. I want you to just end it now. End it. I want you to take the dive right now in the deep end, no water, and I want you to go write me a memo that will totally look like we've been talking about this for a long time and working on it. That's what I want you to do. Yes, Mr. President, I will totally throw my career out the window and I will craft this memo immediately to make it look any way you wish. Thank you. Thank you very much. I expected that from you. And then Jeff, once he sends it to you, you double up and you write a nice little memo saying that you accept what he said and you recommend that I fire him, and I'll do it. We got a plan. Man, I'm glad we all got together on this, and I am glad, Rosenstein, when Comey came to you and wanted that extra money, you stepped up to the plate and we handled this crisis of looking further into a Russian involvement into our election, and especially my campaign and my staff. Thanks. I can't thank you enough. Hey, anyone that would put their career on the line for me like that, I'm serious, you might have thought that was silly. You might have thought that was strange. But that's exactly what they want you to believe this morning, that this man that got voted in 94-6, he threw his career away. Now, let me say this. Okay? Now let's change the scenario. Because what they want you to believe is this guy threatened to resign yesterday. They got to get something. They couldn't get Bannon out of the damn White House. They can't get Priebus out of the White House. They can't get Kellyanne Conway, get her ass off TV. They can't get anything. And every time they just keep saying, we'll get them now. So what they need is somebody to resign. The guy that did it to resign. Okay? So they can keep you watching their TV show. Because it's not news, folks. Please, I want you to forgive me now, but if you were sitting home watching news, you stand a better chance of watching the damn TV preachers. I'm serious. You used to watch them TV preachers, and they would have 90 people in a row, and they would heal them, right? Boom, sit down. Oh, I'm sorry, I know I went somewhere. I went somewhere I should have never gone. But that's what it's like watching these news shows or these TV shows. So here's what happened, right? They want you to believe that this guy was threatening to resign yesterday. Threatening to resign. Let me tell you. So Comey goes in, allegedly goes in and tells this guy, now that he's in place, because he's a man of integrity, he's been there 2 weeks, Comey says, I know I can work with this guy. He goes in, he says to Rosenstein, he says, hey, I need more money to expand. I need more money to expand this investigation because I really think we're on to something. And this guy, it's all about the money and protecting the President of the United States because he's all of a sudden, he's lost all of his integrity, his ethical, everything they said about him, all 94 senators, everything that Chuck Schumer said, Dick Durbin, all the praise on the Senate floor about this guy went out the window when he asked for more money to widen the scope of the investigation. So if that man did that, he obligated himself to call Sessions. Sessions called the president, okay? If President Donald Trump, when he did, called the two of them in there to talk about dismissing the FBI director, at that time is when this man would have looked at the President of the United States and said, sir, if you're asking me to do that, I'll have to tender my resignation because I can't feel good about a FBI director wanting to widen an investigation and it resulting in getting fired with my name on it. That's when he would have offered his resignation. That's when he would have said, find somebody else to do this. That's when he would have said, find somebody else to write this memo. That's when. Not the day after. Okay? So maybe yesterday Rosenstein said, hey, you're not pinning all this on me. I'm not taking the fall for this. You need to do something. And they're translating it into his possible resignation. But trust me, that's that scenario. And the sad thing about it is these are people that have graduated from Ivy League schools. These are people that graduated from Harvard, Yale, Brown, Columbia. These are people that are supposed to be professional journalists. These are supposed to be professional networks that actually, if I have to tell you, either there's no gray area here. Either I'm totally wrong or 100% correct. And God, we know, Sam, that I like to be correct. I'm serious. Either I'm totally wrong because you're not going to convince me that this man that got 94 votes just 3 weeks ago and praised by the Democrats, they got whiplash. I mean, Dick Durbin and Chuck Schumer, they're all walking around with them little foam things around their neck and they can't see left or right. They got to turn their head because, you know, it's like they got hit by a car in 3 weeks and it jerked their neck. Oh my God, now we have to talk bad about this guy when we just praised him on the floor. It didn't happen. Did not happen. Now, okay, so let me get to another one. We're going to get to the memo. That's my promise, okay? That's my promise. We might not get to the whole thing. I had it here a minute. Where the heck is the daggone article I had? I had it here just a minute ago. Stay with me, folks. Where's it at? That's that one. Maybe it's this one. Maybe it's this one. FBI director. Maybe it's this one. I'll get it here in just a second. I don't want to take a break and find it. I had it up here just a minute ago. Aetna pulled out. We got that. Dick Durbin confirms, yes, I did groan as Ted Tone Cruz just asked arrest. I have that one. I got it here a minute ago. Rand Paul. What's this one? I don't know. Falling apart here. I had the one up that said he threatened to resign yesterday, but we'll get into that. Meet the ex-White House Whitewater prosecutor. Do you realize this guy, prosecutor whose memo led to Trump Comey firing. Okay. In the memo that this gentleman set out, Rosenstein's case against Comey, okay? Now, I have a problem with this because there's a whole lot of words I can't pronounce. He uses those Latin words. I mean, again, why? I mean, all those lawyers, they use those Latin words, okay? Memorandum for the Attorney General, Rod J. Rosenstein. Attorney General, restoring public confidence in the FBI. This is his memo to the Attorney General, restoring public confidence in the FBI. The Federal Bureau of Investigation has long been regarded as the nation's premier federal investigation agency over the past year. However, the FBI's reputation and credibility have suffered substantial damage, and it has affected the entire Department of Justice. That is deeply troubling to many department employees and veterans, legislators, and citizens, okay? When Comey diverted from the Department of Justice, we can't break this down too far, and went to the podium on July 5th, he was done. You understand? Any credible president in the United States, he was done the day he did not go to the Department of Justice and let the Department of Justice determine there was a crime they wanted to prosecute. When he said, well, the Loretta Lynch on the tarmac, there was an assistant at the Department of Justice, just like Rod Rosenstein at that time Comey could have went to. All right? Why didn't Comey go to the Department of Justice? Who's investigating the fact of why he didn't go to the Department of Justice? Because that's who he reports to. Why didn't he go to the Department of Justice? Because he was afraid to tell them what he found on the 5th, because they may call the President of the United States, or they may leak it? Why? I mean, all you hear is Russian investigation, but you never hear about why they did things a certain way to divert our attention or to make sure certain people didn't get information, maybe. The current FBI director is an articulate and persuasive speaker about leadership and the immutable principles of the Department of Justice. He deserves our appreciation for his public service, as you and I discussed. However, I cannot defend the director's handling of the conclusion of the investigation of Secretary Clinton's email. Now, they want you to believe that in that meeting between Sessions, Rosenstein, and Trump, that, hey, this will sound good in the memo. That's what they want you to believe, okay? The investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails. And I do not understand his referral to accept the nearly universal judgment that he was mistaken. Almost everyone agrees that the director made a serious mistake. It is one of the few issues that unite people of diverse perspective. The director was wrong to assert the Attorney General's authority on July 5th. He was wrong not to go, and he held a press conference. Let me tell you something. I have called the FBI. The FBI does not release conclusion findings in a press conference. They do not tell you when someone's under investigation, basically. They do not tell you when the investigation is closed. They do not tell you their finding in the investigation. They do not. What Comey did on the 5th would have got anybody in his position fired. The director was wrong to assert the Attorney General's authority, not Donald Trump's, actually Loretta Lynch's, on the 5th, 2016, and announce his conclusion that the case should be closed without prosecution. That was not his place to do. Now, this sounds pretty good that they went into the White House and just worked this right up. Okay, and this guy wrote this, I'll run home tonight, Mr. President. I think I can put something together. I think I can push something in a memo to make it look real good. Yeah, really, that's what he did. This has been prepared for a long time as we creep closer to, as MSNBC would say, a constitutional crisis. I'm your host, BKP. This is the same segment, Sam, when we come back. The reason we say that, when you hear me tell Sam it's the same segment, you can find these clips of different segments on our YouTube channel. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back, and we're going to look at the memo. I don't know. The media won't, so we might as well. Take us a break, Sam.
Ace is your helpful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
Family-owned and operated, and a local favorite for families, parties, and meetings.
Great prices,
friendly service, and delicious Mexican cuisine.
Patio dining available.
Come sing in Carlos's Cantina every Friday 9 to 1.
Eat in or take away.
Same location for 14 years. Open 7 days at the corner of Maddox Drive and 515. North Georgia's favorite Mexican cuisine. El Rey in Ellijay.
Better days ahead at Days Chevrolet in Jasper. We make everything better. It all starts with a huge new Chevy selection. Then we heap on the discounts to make sure your Chevy price is the lowest you'll find anywhere. And if you like great customer service, you'll love it at Days. Bigger selection, lower prices, easy financing, and great customer service. Your better day is just ahead at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where new Chevys cost less.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
Good morning from the office. I'm your host, BKP, the voice of rural America. Thank you for joining us this morning. It's 9/19 Thursday morning. It is Thursday, right, Sam?
Yes.
Just double checking. That means when we know it's Thursday, that means Tomorrow's Friday. I know everybody's cheering out there. Oh, he figured it out. But what I'm saying is tomorrow's Friday. We'll be at Sycamore Crossing. We'll have our Pet of the Week from the Humane Society of Blue Ridge. And we'll be outside of Sycamore Crossing 8 to 10. And the Katie Sassine Show at 10 o'clock, from 10 to 10:30. And that's today. So stay tuned after today's show for the Katie Sassine Show. Now, a couple things. Democrat. Now we're going to get back to the memo. I promise we're going right back to the memo. But Democrats talk. Okay. I didn't know that was on. I'll have to call him back in a minute. I have to kill that. All right. Democrats talk of an impeachment clock for Trump. Democrat leaders aren't calling for the impeachment of President Trump, but they're getting closer. To one Democrat congressman, the president's decision to fire FBI Director James Comey reminds him of the doomsday clock, a symbol that warns about the likelihood of nuclear war. That's what they're up there saying, right? Would you like to play a game? War Games. You remember the show? Oh, forget it. We should maybe have an impeachment clock, said Representative Mark Pocan, a Democrat from Wisconsin, said on Wednesday. And if we did, I think yesterday moved us about an hour closer to having the need. I would urge this has got to still be on the table as an opinion, especially if indeed these were the obstruction of justice by firing the FBI director. You know what I find interesting is on one end of Capitol Hill, on one end of Washington, D.C., the media finds all of what they feel to be competent people. I'm serious, I'm just saying this. They find all these competent people. The Dick Durbin, competent. Elizabeth Warren, competent. Chucky Schumer, Chucky the Clown. Have we had Chucky the Clown up yet today? The Tears of a Clown? Just, all right, put the, you know the 5-second rule, but let people see Chucky the Clown. Okay, so they find the competent side of DC is what the media feels they have, okay? Now, that being said, they want to lead you to believe that the other end of Pennsylvania Avenue, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, is just blithering idiots. They're all idiots. That they would throw their entire careers away. They would finish off their entire career. Everything they've worked for their whole life would end today for Donald Trump. Their loyalty pledged to him. Is that in the loyalty pledge that they signed? Yes, Mr. President, I will agree today to actually end my career for you. Really? I mean, the joke that they're setting down there, even Comey, and I know it took to 9:23 today for me to do this, even James Comey, in his parting letter to his colleagues, said, the President of the United States has the authority to fire the FBI director. Period. Even Comey knows that. That's why he got on the plane, went home. He was fired. He knew that. If Comey did not think that Donald Trump had the authority, not to back up, but you know, Comey's on the stage and he's starting to talk to a group of FBI agents that work for him. So at 9 o'clock they work for him. At 9:01, there's two agents, I think two, but there's agents approach Comey and they say, sir, we need you to step over here in this room because you're no longer the FBI director. That is so laughable that people have not figured out who the hell the commander-in-chief is. The letter said immediately. It didn't say by 4. It didn't say, we'll give you the Friday afternoon to clean out your desk. It said immediately. So the minute that thing was signed Donald J. Trump, before the ink dried, he was fired. Done. Leave. All right. So anyhow, just a side note, this guy was Starr, Kenneth Starr. You remember the special prosecutor? There's not going to be a special prosecutor right now. Okay, let's relax on that. But you remember, meet the ex-White House prosecutor whose memo led to firing James Comey, the deputy, Rod Rosenstein, the deputy attorney general, who wrote the memo that led to Tuesday's firing of the FBI director. Now, they keep putting his name on this because they want to pressure him. Here's the thing I've said about this White House all along is Donald Trump doesn't concern me. Donald Trump is playing these people, and I'll give my credit to Frank out there. As Frank always says, the rest of them are playing checkers, and Donald Trump is playing chess. That's the bottom line. So Donald Trump is playing chess with these, people that are playing checkers. So the media, I've told you many times that I'm not concerned with Donald Trump. He has the skin, the strength. He can take this heat every day. I never get up worried about Donald Trump himself. But not everybody's wired like Donald Trump, and not everybody can take the pressure like Donald Trump. And some people collapse, okay? You just can't help it, all right? Because this is a lot of pressure. When the media decides to take you down, the takedown is in. I mean, it's in, okay? And if you haven't caught on that the takedown is in. So this guy here, they want to lead him to believe that the pressure is so high, and they're focusing on him. He is the laser beam because they want to see if they can get him to crack, because they know Trump won't crack. So they want to lead you to believe that he fired him, that he fired Comey, and he's the reason Comey got fired. No, 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 no. July 5th is the reason Comey got fired. The lack of confidence by other agents in the FBI or the agency, which they continue to lie to you and say that there's not a lack of confidence, which we know is true out here. That's what got Comey fired, not Rod Rosenstein. The Deputy Attorney General who wrote the memo that led to the firing in 1990, Rosenstein, was on the team of prosecutors appointed by Kenneth Starr to investigate Bill and Hillary Clinton's Whitewater business dealings in Arkansas. In 2012, Attorney General Eric Holder tapped him to investigate national security leaks to news outlets, a response to heavy criticism of Obama's administration by congressional Republicans. Now, I will tell you this. He has the experience to look into everything we need looked into. He has the experience and the background to look into where these leaks are coming from that Comey wouldn't touch. Okay? He has the background and experience. He knows the Clintons. Just saying. So, let's go back to the memo before we close our show today. We got a little bit of time. So obviously, we've discussed earlier that they didn't get the memo. When in 2016, July 5th, announced his conclusion that the case should be closed without prosecution, it is not the function of the director to make such an announcement. Now this guy said it's not the function to make that announcement. At most, the director should have said the FBI has completed its investigation and presented its finding to federal prosecutors. That's it. That's it. See, the thing is Dick Durbin stands up at the podium, Chuck Schumer stands up at the podium, any one of these lying, I can't say no more bad words today. I hit my limit. Any one of these liars know this is the truth. This is the truth, that they know the day Comey went up there and said that, hey, he could have said, hey, he could have went to the podium and said, we've completed our investigation and it's been turned over to federal prosecutors. But Mr. FBI, Mr. Comey, what did you find in the investigation? All I can tell you right now is it's complete. It's been turned over to federal prosecutors. But Comey, did you find Hillary do this? All we can tell you is it's complete. That should have been on July 5th, but no, Comey didn't, all right? The director now defends his decision by asserting that he believed Attorney General Loretta Lynch had a conflict. But the FBI director is never empowered to supplant federal prosecutors, okay, and assume command of the Justice Department. This is very simple. Did anybody get the damn memo? Comey did so many things off the chart that are not acceptable in the protocols and his authority, okay? But the FBI director never, all right, commanded the he assumed command of the Justice Department. So he made the Justice Department's, he made them irrelevant on July 5th, okay? There is well-established process for other officials to step in when a conflict requires the recusal of the Attorney General. There's a process. Comey can't come to the podium July 5th and say, well, I don't know what Hillary's intentions are. We found some emails that say classified. But Loretta Lynch and Bill Clinton, they were on the tarmac out there in Arizona talking about their grandkids. So it put me in an awkward situation. I had to subvert the Justice Department. I don't have the authority to do that, but you can see why. No, there is something in place. There's something in place. They keep telling you that Jeff Sessions, well, if he recused himself from all of this, why was he involved? Because the protocol, the line of authority is for the deputy to make a recommendation to the Attorney General, and the Attorney General to attach that recommendation and send it to the President. That is not getting involved in an investigation. That is following through with a recommendation to the President of the United States concerning something. Okay? There's well-established process for officials to step in when there's a conflict. However, the director announced his own conclusions about the nation's most sensitive criminal investigation without the authority of duly appointed Justice Department leaders. Compounding the error, the director ignored another long-standing principle. We do not hold press conferences to release derogatory information about the subject of a declined criminal investigation. Derogatory information sometimes is disclosed in the course of the criminal investigation and prosecutions. But we never release generalities. We never do that. The director laid out his vision of the facts for the news media as if it were closing arguments, but without a trial. It is a textbook example of what federal prosecutors and agents are taught not to do. So they want you to believe, the media, their heads exploding. We got a picture of anybody's head exploding. Their heads exploding. They want you to believe that this guy, through his whole career, Rosenstein just said, I'm going to go back and I'm going to write, yes, Mr. President, I will write this up immediately. I'm sure I could come up with something that says that Comey has lost the confidence of the agents in this, thousands of agents in this agency. Yes, I'm for sure I can come up with something. Actually, the American people that want to know the truth about Russia and their involvement, or whether President Trump has been compromised by the Russians, if they want to actually get to the truth of that, the best thing they could do is get a clean, clear FBI that can handle it. I'm not opposed to them continuing to look at anything. They're the FBI. But Comey could not. So they threw the whole career away, right? Oh, no. There's the media. Sam, way to go. There you go. Their heads are exploding. Wait, you get an A for that. That's an A. That is just a flat-out A, no matter how you look at it. In response to I'm struggling. In response to skeptical question at a congressional hearing, the director defended his remarks by saying that his goal was to say what is true. What did we do? What did we find? What do we think about it? But the goal of a federal criminal investigation is not to announce our thoughts at a press conference. The goal is to determine whether there is sufficient evidence to justify a federal criminal prosecution, then allow a federal prosecutor who exercises authority delegated by Attorney General to make the prosecutorial decision, and then, if prosecution is warranted, let the judge and the jury determine the facts. We sometimes release information about closed investigations, in appropriate ways, but the FBI does not do it. Didn't I have it here? The FBI, this is in the memo. I know they didn't get the memo. The FBI does not do it.
Swiss County. On its own initiative.
The FBI does not do it Swiss sponte, on their own. Comey went on his own. Comey went rogue. He went out there and he was loving every minute of it to the press. And this man knew on July 5th that he did everything that the book requires wrong. I'm going to take a brief break. We're going to look. I have to do this because obviously they didn't get the memo. None of the media got the memo. None of them understand this. I mean, I have no damn law degree, but at least I got sense enough to read this memo. I can't pronounce all the damn Latin, but at least I got sense enough to filter through and find out the truth. A constitutional crisis? Hell no. Comey even admits president can can his ass at any time. All right, limit. I'm over the limit. Take us to break so I can regroup. Circuit World, brand name merchandise at unbelievably low prices. Furniture, appliances, and electronics. Circuit World is locally owned and operated, serving the tri-state area. Circuit World has highly trained professionals to help. Visit your hometown Circuit World today. 3 locations in Georgia, Ellijay, Blue Ridge, and Blairsville, Franklin, and Murphy, North Carolina. No credit checks, so let Circuit World deliver to you today.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in Ellijay, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on-site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ellijay. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Hi, Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart.
Days ahead.
At Days Chevrolet in Jasper, we make everything better. And no matter what vehicle you drive, our new state-of-the-art service center can keep you running like new with factory-trained technicians, genuine parts, and value pricing. Even convenient Saturday service hours and online appointments. So if you want to extend the life of your vehicle, let the Days service experts help. Your better day is just ahead at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where we service whatever you drive.
Better days ahead. Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
And we're back. I'm your host, BKP, the voice of rural America. Thank you for tuning in today. FYNTV.com. Don't forget our... now, we're talking about the memo because obviously the media did not get the memo. We're going to spend just a couple more minutes on it. Now, Rosenstein goes on in his memo to cite comments that have been made by former attorney generals. Former. So I didn't want to go in and just pick up the, I didn't want to go in and pick up, I didn't want to go in and just pick up Republicans. So the media didn't get the memo, and that's what we're focusing on, all right? Eric Holder, now this is in the memo, folks. This is in the damn memo that Chuck Schumer has, and Nancy Pelosi, and Dianne Feinstein out there in San Francisco, and Dick Durbin. This is in that memo that they didn't read. Alberto Gonzales, who also served as Attorney General under President George W. Bush, called the decision an error in judgment. Now listen, an error in judgment. Eric Holder, who served as Deputy Attorney General under President Clinton and Attorney General under President Obama. See, Holder has held Rosenstein's position as deputy, and he's held Attorney General. So he's coming from both angles, Rosenstein's and Jeff Sessions. Eric Holder, who served as Deputy Attorney General under President Clinton and Attorney General under President Obama, said the director's decision, and this is in quotes, was incorrect. It violated long-standing Justice Department policies and traditions, and it ran counter to guidance that I put in place 4 years ago, laying out the proper way to conduct investigations during an election season. There was something put in place. Holder concluded that the director, this is in quotes, that the director, Eric Holder, of all people, broke with these fundamental principles and negatively affected public trust in both the Justice Department and FBI. Really? That's interesting. I find that interesting that they didn't read that part of the memo. Former Attorney General Michael Mukasey, another Attorney General that's quoted in this. Now, you remember now, Rosenstein told the president, Mr. President, I'm for sure I can go back and put something together overnight. I can have it on your desk by in the morning. The guy was probably wore out because he had no sleep. He was putting all this together. So the president could have some good reason to fire Comey. I mean, you got to give me something, guys. Hey, I got you, Sessions, Rosenstein. You got to give me something to work with here. I'm for sure, Mr. President, I can come up with something. Okay. Where was he at? Former Attorney General Michael Mukasey, who served under President George W. Bush, observed the director. Here's the quote. stepped way outside his job in disclosing the recommendation in that fashion because the FBI director, this is a forward quote, continues to quote, doesn't make that decision. And we should reject and depart and return to traditions. Now here's the final paragraph from Rosenstein. I'm sorry I had to read it. They didn't get the memo. Although the president has the power to remove an FBI director, the decision should not be taken lightly. I agree with and nearly unanimously unanimous opinions of former department officials. So he's went and he's put his, any good lawyer will pull the case up. If you're standing before the judge and you want to get a ruling on something, you will cite other cases from other attorneys on the same subject. So Rosenstein does all this. He lays everything out of this, Mr. President. I can give you like 10 examples. This was totally wrong and goes against protocol, rule, procedure, everything. Although the president has the power to remove the FBI director, not constitutional crisis, damn it, the power. Sam, you're going to have to help me out on this. I got to back this off. The decision should not be taken lightly. I agree with the nearly unanimous opinions of the former department officials. The way the director handled the conclusion of the email investigation was wrong. As a result, the FBI is unlikely to regain public and congressional trust until it has a director who understands the gravity of the mistakes and pledges never to repeat them. Having refused to admit his errors, the director cannot be expected to implement the necessary corrected actions. That's his final statement. You do with it what you want, Mr. President. You do whatever you want, whatever decision you make. But I'm going to tell you, just the fact that he can't admit he did anything wrong, okay? Now, anybody that's around me will tell you that you have to, I will tell them, you got to admit something's wrong. You can't fix something if it's not wrong, if you don't know where to start from. So Comey wouldn't admit it, and he has to say, having refused to admit his errors, the director cannot be expected to implement the changes necessary. The American people don't have faith in the FBI. Congress doesn't have faith in the FBI. We don't have faith in the FBI. Period. Something has to be restored because you spend billions of dollars on this, and it's your tax money. And we have to have faith, we have to have trust in them, okay? So that being said, you do what you want, Mr. President. So do you really feel that this guy threw his whole career out and wrote this memo that obviously the media did not read, that obviously it's not Nixonian, okay? That just because Comey asked for a couple extra bucks, I need gas money. Well, let me call the president. Comey's asking for gas money. Do you think, what do you think he's up to? I'm your host, BKP. I'm going to take a break because that's the end of that segment. We're going to come back and close. I'm going to make a couple healthcare comments. We're going to talk about tomorrow. I want to talk about healthcare, so come back. And we're going to talk about tomorrow. And we got a couple announcements we want to make before the end of the show. Take us a break, Sam.